midfield. Leeds Rhinos have defended their crown.
And what a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. Invested in the poor lad. That is one sensational try.
Look out with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
It's hit the post. It's Wellesby. Wellesby might have got the try. St Helens are champions once again.
Hello, welcome to our weekly Rugby League show, The Last Tackle. I'm delighted to welcome to the studio two former internationals in Paul Sculthorpe and Adrian Morley, because it's international rugby we are starting with. England played on Friday night against the Combined Nations All-Stars. And Scully, you're part of the England setup, and although the result was not the result you wanted, how good, first of all, was it to be back in camp?
Yeah, it was fantastic to be back in camp and just get, you know, some sort of involvement with the England boys. You know, it's been pretty stop-start, you know, over the last 18 months, and you know, we've only managed two training sessions, but great to get a couple of days in camp as well ahead of the All-Stars game.
And incredibly, that was Shaun Wane's actual first game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it was the first time we'd actually coached on field, you know, in these couple of sessions that we'd had since 2018. So, you know, he was chomping at the bit, and you know, it was a great game. You know, there's a lot to be learnt from it. Obviously, you know, we've not had any time really with the players in regards to, you know, shape or structures, but just great to see, you know, the players out there, and it was certainly a test.
And certainly the Combined Nations All-Stars were up for it.
Yeah, they were.
They had a point to prove, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. And any time you get a chance to represent anyone really, whether it be your country or you know, the All-Stars or the Exiles as it was back in the day, it's very exciting. You know, it's not every day you get an opportunity to play against an international side, and they did have a point to prove. It's a pretty decent squad they had and a decent team they put out there, and there was plenty of points. And I agree with Scully, very entertaining game and high-scoring game, and that England team will be very different, you know, at the end of the year with the World Cup. But I thought it was a great game, and it served its purpose.
I know what Shaun Wane's like. He'll have been gutted because he got beat. But whatever it is, a few days afterwards now, you've obviously spoken to him. There's quite a few positives to take from the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives. You know, Wane was obviously, he was filthy with losing. He doesn't do losing. You know, he said that. But there was certainly no negativity after the game. You know, what he took out was the positives. You know, the lads played hard, they played tough, they were brave. Just need to play smarter. But as I said, we've not had no time together in system. You know, you look at defensive systems. Some teams play passive, some play aggressive, and you get a mix of that. And you know, it looks messy on the game night. But just great to get players out there, and again, you know, Shaun getting over his message, what he wants from the World Cup.
So was it a beneficial experience?
Oh, it was very, very beneficial. You know, getting the players in camp and more time around, you know, the England environment of what Shaun wants from the players. And like I said, the team's going to change. There's a lot of big name players to come in, and then obviously your NRL contingent as well. So there's a lot to be gained from it, and great to see, you know, what we got from the players who did play.
I don't think Jake Connor and Jermaine McGilvray did their England hopes any harm either. I thought they both had fantastic games.
Hastings.
No, you're right. And you know, again, they've got a point to prove, and just great that even though they weren't representing England, but they were putting themselves in the shop window. So there'll be a great competition for places at the end of the year with the NRL boys back as well.
Well, let's get some reaction from the dressing room and hear from Liam Farrell.
That's obviously a really disappointing result tonight, but from a personal point of view, you must be delighted with your performance back in the England shirt for the first time in quite a while now.
Yeah, been a few years. Buzzing to be back in the shirt. You know, disappointing not to get the win, but obviously to get out with the lads. Playing at a different intensity. Different group of lads. It's been great. Like I said, there's a lot to build on there.
Were you surprised at how brutal the game was tonight? Because it seemed certainly from the outside like it was extremely physical and a lot of emotion and motivation out there.
Yeah, I think we fully expected it. It's the best in Super League, and you know, it's a great England squad up against the Combined Nations though, which they caused us a lot of trouble. And one of the biggest things we knew they were going to have was the physical, and did that throughout the game. And I thought we handled it pretty well, especially defensively. But like I said, there's some errors there in D. What can be better, and also with the ball. But I think it's a great starting point for us.
In terms of you personally, obviously you've been out of the fold for a while. Do you think, are you confident that you'll be able to make an impact in the World Cup and beyond?
I'd love to, yeah. Bit of a cliche, but continuing my form for Wigan. Show Wane that I'm available for selection and I'm playing good enough form. Then I'd love to be involved in the World Cup. I don't know any rugby player who doesn't want to be, so really excited about it. But great to get the lads together this week. Bit of a fresh start for us, and then obviously look forward to the World Cup at the end of the year.
And finally, you've been back with Shaun this week. It's been obviously spent a long time of your career playing under him. Has it been strange being back playing under him, or has it been like slipping into the same club again?
Yeah, slipping right back into it. Everything I expected from him, he delivered, and all the lads I think they had certain ideas what Wane expected to be physical, have passion, play with emotion, and I think everyone definitely did that tonight on the back end of a wrong result, but I think the lads bought into what Wane wanted, and I think he'll be proud of that.
Well, thanks for your time, Wane.
Thank you. Cheers.
Like so many rugby league players that interviewed after the game, honesty from Liam Farrell. It certainly was a physical game. I mean, anyone rocking up thinking this might be a testimonial wasn't, was it?
No, far from it. And as I mentioned before, the exiles, the all-stars have lot to prove. And as I say, it's a representative jersey at the end of the day, and they're playing against the best of the English. And again, the English want to put their name down for a World Cup spot. So there was a lot to play for, and that was a great game. And Liam Farrell there, I thought he scored a fantastic. He scored 2 tries, but one in particular was very, very good. He didn't do himself any harm. He's just mentioned then he'd love to represent England in the World Cup, and as every player would. So he's got a great opportunity now.
And one benefit for you, Scully, as part of the coaching staff, is that they didn't disappear straight away after the game. You got them on Saturday, didn't you, and did a debrief?
Yeah, the camp carried over. Obviously, after the game, we're back to the hotel, and then obviously Shaun wanted a debrief with the players and a review of the game on the Saturday morning, which was great. The guys have feedback on what happened and what Shaun wants, and the way that them players can take that on board now is into their club game. It's simple stuff that Shaun wants that they do week in, week out that he'll be watching for. So it's great that the players know what's expected. The things that if Shaun thought there was good, thought there was bad, thought there's improvement, and they can obviously take that now into the rest of the season.
And did they take it on board?
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, and the players know it. They're smart, and it's not an overcomplicated game, rugby league. It's doing the little things, right. And at international, it's a different step up. And I think a lot of the players who, went into that game, that is a step up. That All Stars game was a step up above Super League. But playing against Australia, New Zealand in a World Cup final is a million times again. So it's great that they've sampled that now and obviously can take on Shaun's feedback for the rest of the season.
Well, the All-Stars clearly enjoyed beating England. Let's hear from Jackson Hastings.
Jackson, congratulations. It's quite a victory out there for your team tonight.
Mate, it was hard fought. Obviously, we knew it was going to be a tough game, regardless of who they had playing, who they had in and out. They're the England national team. And they played like that tonight. It was brutal encounter, as you said. Our big boys and outside backs did an unbelievable job, and it allowed me and Aiden and Jake to play off the back of that. And yeah, just thrilled to get the win.
When we spoke after training on Tuesday, I said to you that it looked like you made a really quick start as a team, and there was some really good stuff. Some of the stuff you played tonight was fantastic as a team.
Yeah.
How was that gelled so quickly over the space of 4 days?
Just our coach, mate. Tim Sheen's obviously he's done it for a long time at the highest level. He's got such a prestige in the game, and he just brought a group together and just said, "This is what you're doing," and everyone just looked at him, nod their head, and the first day of camp we got along like a house on fire. You saw us the second day; it was all laughy, smiley, jokey, but when we were training, it was red hot. So, just really proud to be a part of the concept. I hope it stays. I'm going home next year, so won't be able to play in it, but real honour to be captain and real honour to win tonight.
What did you make of the England performance? Obviously, very disappointing to lose, but it was such a great game for the neutral, I suppose. So what did you make of the performance?
I haven't got a bad word to say, mate. They made us work for everything. They had a lot of people pull out, obviously, through injury and suspension, but the people that stood in and played their first game for England did the jerseys proud. We only just won by 2 points come the end of the day, and we kicked 2 or 3 penalty goals to get the lead. So we didn't do anything outstanding to win the game. It was just a hard-fought test match. That's how we approached it. I know a lot of people screwed their nose up at the contest, but when you get games like that, you can't do nothing but smile. So as I said, just really proud to be a part of it. Really proud we won for Mossy, and hopefully this continues on for the years to come.
And finally, you've mentioned previously that your desire is to play for England in a World Cup if you're given that opportunity. Do you think your performance tonight helped your cause?
Oh, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Shaun that and the selectors. I'm not sure. They know where I stand on it. I suppose I've done 50 interviews saying the same thing and nothing's ever changed. I wasn't out to prove a point or anything like that. Obviously, I always love to play well. I'm a competitor. I just want to win. But I really wanted to do Mossy justice. I wanted to do my home nation and the rest of the boys' nations justice. I mean, it was a very proud camp. Learned a lot about different people's cultures and things like that too. So, I mean, just very proud, mate. That's all I can keep saying. I'm just a really proud captain, really proud player, person at the moment. And as I said to you, wish England all the best. If I'm a part of it, that'll be unbelievable. And if not, I'll be cheering them on. So, wish Shaun and everyone else the best come the World Cup. And as I said, hopefully I'm a part of it.
Yeah, and just this time, definitely, finally, there's obviously, as you've said, been a little bit of mixed emotions about this concept. You've been obviously a huge part of it. What would you say to those that have said it's not quite right or it might not be the right thing to do?
Do we want England to win the World Cup or not? I mean, you put them in a proper full-blooded test match against the best players from overseas, and you give both teams a full camp and have a standalone weekend, and you get even better game than that. That was some special game. So I mean, embrace it. We want England to kick on and win Four Nations, World Cups, Tri-Series, all these things we want England to win. So let's push the international game forward. Let's help Shaun. Let's help everyone in that squad push forward to hopefully win trophies. I'm a massive believer in international football. It's sort of mellowed over the last couple of years. State of Origin's taken off, but I mean, there's no greater honour than playing for your country. And I mean, let's support it and let's help this concept kick on.
Let's push the international game forward.
Yeah,
great to hear.
Yeah, great bit of commentary from Jackson there. And what we've got to realise is again that the international game's stronger. It helps everybody else within the game. It's a bit unprecedented times at the moment with COVID and situations in clubs, but clubs really need to buy into England and to the international game because the stronger the international game is, it benefits everybody.
I'd love to see that as a standalone fixture, no Super League games to interfere and just have the All-Stars game. And, if it is a success, which on that face of that it would be, and then you could have it maybe a 2-game series or even a 3-game series, and, the interest would be massive when you can get crowds back.
You've always said to me that, you had a great career. Obviously, you won the Super League, you won over in Australia as well. You won Challenge Cups, but you've always said your finest moment was putting on the England shirt on the Great Bench.
100%, yeah. Representing my country was my proudest moment, and one of my big regrets as a professional. Just talking about representative stuff. As a kid growing up, it was my goal to play for Lancashire, and I did that against Yorkshire. There's a huge rivalry there. As a professional, I never got the chance to do that. I was playing in Australia when they brought back the War of the Roses. And again, just because of growing up, I was so proud to represent Lancashire. That's one of my big regrets as a pro. So I think there's you could potentially bring that back as well. I think there is an appetite for Yorkshire, Lancashire, but certainly as many times as we can get the England squad together, playing against meaningful opposition, it can only benefit the national game. But yeah, it certainly was the proudest moment of my career, and I'm sure all them players, if you ask them, it's the same for them guys as well.
And it was great for Mossy Massoy as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, to see him there as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Just his grin was fantastic. He enjoyed the game and the victory. So, yeah, we wish Mossy all the best, and it was great that he could make an appearance.
Right, something we've got to talk about, and we don't have the answer right now, is obviously there has been speculation about the World Cup. Look, obviously because of our association, I do know what's going on behind the scenes. I know the RFL and the World Cup are working extremely hard to make sure the tournament goes ahead. And we're expecting an announcement this week. As we sit here, Scully, especially, part of the coaching staff for England, we can just hope it's a positive announcement.
Yeah, obviously we're desperate, are we, for the World Cup to go ahead this year. Everything's in place. They've done John Dutton and his team have done a fantastic job over the past 4 years. For what's nobody knowing what was going to come, in the last 18 months, and you do feel so sorry for the guys. Obviously, the conversations are going on now because it's bigger than what's just happening in this country. It's overseas travel, it's quarantine for when these countries go back to their own country and competition. So they're the conversations that are happening at the moment. Let's just hope and pray that we get the green light and everything goes ahead, and by October everything's opened up and we can have a full-blown competition that we've wanted from the start.
Because we've seen the New Zealand cricket team over here recently playing. Look, so fingers crossed New Zealand are going to come. It's a question mark over the Aussies, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Australians are favourites for the competition. They're the one that every team knows that they've got to beat. And for me, it wouldn't be a justified World Cup, without the Australians in there. Well, we want that. We want a full-blown competition. I know my part of England. You want to beat Australia. You want to beat New Zealand. You want to beat Tonga. If they're the ones in front of you from winning a World Cup. So we want everybody available. We want a full-blown competition, and what it was planned to be from 4 years ago.
So there's going to be an announcement this week, but the RFL and the World Cup are working so hard to get this tournament on, because we also want the tournament on for the women's game as well. They had a great result on Friday night. They beat Wales 60-0. And then on Saturday, the wheelchair team playing in Sheffield, they beat Wales 102-22. Let's get reaction from both camps.
Convincing win there.
Yeah.
How was it out there?
Yeah, you know what, I'm really proud of the girls. I think they was outstanding. I think obviously quite a few mistakes. I don't think we kept hold of the ball, especially myself, but I think overall really pleased that is a good scoreline, and they were pretty physical, so it's good.
And how's that game set you up for the World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. The preparation so far has been really good with England women, and that's just a crucial element of the preparation. So I think that's set us up really well for the World Cup at the end of the year.
Well, obviously the scoreboard's great, and a few things to tweak in our performance, because that's what we're about. If we do our performance, great, the scoreboard will sort itself out. So overall, first time back in nearly 2 years. So I think that was the rugby league overall was a real winner today. So just good to be back out there.
For you personally, 4 tries, not a bad ball. How did you sum up your own personal performance?
Yeah, good. I felt good. We've got a great staff that look after us. So even though I'm only 23, I'm getting a bit old now. So they're looking after my old body. But I'm just trying to keep up with the young lads now, like Nathan and Tom and Rob. They make me look slow, and then there's people like Wane and Simo who are just miles behind, because they're getting into their 40s and 50s. So.
Must be an interesting dynamic for you now playing under your brother. How has that been since you took over?
Great, actually. We sort of keep it as professional as we can. Otherwise, we will probably start bickering. But it's really good. I'm really privileged to be able to share this journey with him. And I don't think there's anyone else in the world really that would be able to do that. So we're just cherishing every moment, whilst keeping it as professional as we can.
So that was at the English Institute of Sport, and they won 102-22 against Wales, so congratulations to them. And it was in front of the BBC cameras as well. Now the Challenge Cup final is also going to be in front of the BBC cameras, but because of COVID, unfortunately it's been put back to the 15th of August. That's for Leeds Rhinos versus the Argonauts, so that's now on the 15th of August. So well done to them. Look, we said this at the beginning of the season. We need the World Cup on because it's so inclusive with having the wheelchair and the women playing the World Cup.
And it's creating such a momentum now with this World Cup. If it don't go ahead, it would be a tragedy, but you're right, it's so inclusive at the moment. We've got 3 major World Cups going on at the same time, the wheelchair, the women's and the men's, so fingers crossed it's all going to be okay. It won't be the end of the world if it is postponed for just a year, but as I say, the momentum building and the fact that at the end of this summer, everything can get back to normal. Let's just hope it'll be the first major tournament, apart from that football thing, what we're all talking about now. But it'll be a huge, just solely in England, major tournament that we can all celebrate and get behind. So fingers crossed.
And the women's game's going completely in the right direction.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's been fantastic.
The exposure's fantastic.
Yeah, the exposure that obviously the Women's Super Leagues had, and then obviously on the back of that, all the England players as well, and we got to see quite a bit of the game obviously prior to the All-Stars game of watching the England women versus Wales, and a great performance from the England girls, and all credit to the Welsh girls as well. They're quite a new team, so obviously doing a great job down there. It's just great to see the expansion and obviously the women's involvement within the game.
Yeah, so congratulations to the women's team and the wheelchair team. 2 fantastic wins there over Wales. Let's turn our attention to the Super League because there was 5 Super League games last week. Let's take a look back.
of the Warrington Wolves. The ball looping to Widdop, Widdop on to Austin, and Austin puts his foot to the floor, and Blake Austin not allowed to do so by Lee's defence, but they are backs against the wall once again as Matt Davis. Can they capitalise? Can they find a way through? Liam Hood is going to do that, and he has. Taking matters into his own hands, gets the pass away nicely. Longstaff, Widdop chasing in support, and Widdop slithering over the line.
Big strong effort.
Austin, Widdop, ball over the top, well claimed by Charlie, and G fancied it himself. And the opportunity might have gone, but no! Wane has got the try. Mark Wane.
This time with Gaskell, who makes a contest of it. Connor Wynne, no, he got mixed up with that one, and it might be a debut score. Johnston finds Sneed, this might be the route through, Vanua! Johnston goes back to the open right. Sneed, they're going to try and give him a taste of their own medicine here. Logan gets it right this time! With a bit of brawn as well. Sneed with the grubber. Oh, that's a painful kick. Oh, Connor Wynne! Connor Wynne gets the try.
From Da Costa, he bypasses him again. Maloney and Drinkwater, floated pass over to the far side. Wonderful pass. Into the line they go, McMeekin. It's popped up and gone forward to the Tigers. Well, they put it down. How has it come out? Morg sweeps it back. Lovely floated ball to the right-hand side. No way through. Pass to the near side, and the guy going to get one in. And perhaps there is time.
It's taken on the full by Jowett from the kick from Powell and gets it away to Johnston, and Johnston's got some daylight, and Johnston's got some pace and some support. Here's Johnson, gets it to Hampshire, and Wakefield are going to get the first try of the night, and it's come backwards. It's been kicked away by Jowett, gets it back to Johnson, still the last tackle, back on the inside to Ashurst, and Ashurst has scored!
Generating anything, you can just see it's an early pass. Actually nice to see Powell getting out of dummy half.
Smith gets it to Hanley, and it is penalty try. It's Jumla Hanley who's got the try, and Wigan from nothing are suddenly back in this.
His hand out backwards and knocked it forward.
Yeah. Oh, it's off.
Oh, and there's a little bit of afters, and now they're all getting involved. Nil early on a Sunday afternoon, and there's a straight red card. Leeds working it wide, and Leeds will go in. With his first carry, Dwyer again seeing a lot of the ball. Keeping the ball alive was James Donaldson, and now Leeds can break, and Briscoe will go for the line. And back to Leeming. Oh, the intercept now! And it's a toe-to-toe race. Can Vidiowa get back? I don't think he will, because there's great speed, and Salford out of nowhere will score. Atkin took on the big fella. Popped up by Dwyer to Gale. They look dangerous, Leeds attacking the line. Myler, he steps away. Myler to score! I'm hearing about his injury and his health. I hope he's all right. Leeds could get even better. Myler's up there again. He'll take the pass and score another one, will he? He will! 11 on 11. It's the big fella to take the first try. Picks his spot, gives it to Briscoe. That's how easy it is. Fans behind the post to our left who made the trip over the M62 on a Sunday afternoon will have enjoyed this. Livette to Escaré. Bit of daylight for Escaré to show and go. And he's got pace, this guy. Escaré again. Oh, there he goes. Look at the toes from Morgan Escaré. Consolation no more.
Yeah, so plenty to talk about. Let's just start with Warrington. We've got former Warrington captain on the panel today. That is the 5th straight victory now in the Super League for Warrington.
Yeah, they look like they've turned a bit of a corner, Warrington. They've been a bit inconsistent, which they normally are.
Go on, say it.
It's Warrington's year, but no, I mean, they've had a really strong win against Saints 2 weeks ago. That was, I think, it was a confidence boost. Another good win. It was, you could say, it was against Lee, who were at the bottom of the table, but they had a number of first teamers missing because of the international. A lot of the youngsters played, but they're looking really good and looking really confident. So I think you'll see them now climbing the table. But 5 straight wins in Super League is great great record that, so it could be Warrington's year.
Questions were, no, but I mean seriously, questions are beginning to get asked, weren't there? Because everyone knows Steve Price is leaving at the end of the season and Darryl Powell's coming in, and people thought, well, is that affecting the team? Well,
yeah, well,
doesn't seem at the moment. Do you know what?
And
are they better balanced at the moment?
I think so. I mean, they're quite right to ask that, and we've spoke about the situation before on this show, and why tell everyone now at the start of the season, why not wait? But they've gone about it the way they have. But you've got to say they have been inconsistent, but seem to be getting it right at the minute. So I think I mentioned it before, but that win against Saints was absolutely massive for them as a club, and give them the confidence now.
And Scully, I don't think Adrian Lamb will be pressing the panic button, but it's a third defeat on the bounce. So I went undefeated all season, lost at Catalan, and that's now 3 on the bounce.
Yeah, well, I've said it all year. I've not been convinced by Wigan all year. Even when they were top of the table, I think they were 7 from 7. They weren't playing exceptionally well. And I think they've lost a few players. They had players out obviously on international duty in the recent game, but yeah, it's not what you expect from Wigan.
And a game you were at, 2 of your former clubs, Salford versus Leeds. A bad-tempered affair.
It was a bad-tempered affair. It didn't start that way, but after 20 minutes, there was an incident with Farrell and Mossop, and Mossop threw a punch.
More of an incident.
Well, it was more of an incident.
I like Moz's commentary when he went, oops, it's on.
Yeah, she's on. Well, there was a punch thrown and a bit of a melee. Yeah. But from that, I think Leeds were looked in control at that point anyway, but then after that, they just went about the business, and there was very worthy winners, and Salford didn't offer a great deal, to be fair, with the ball. The only 2 tries they scored, one was an interception and one was a great piece of individual skill by Ascari. So Salford were quite poor really. Before the game, I couldn't really pick a winner because Salford had a great win the week before against Huddersfield, and
they needed that though, Salford.
They did need it. It was really was a release, a bit of pressure there on the club and Richard Marshall, but Leeds had not played for a month, so I couldn't really pick it. And before they played, the performances had been quite up and down and indifferent, so I couldn't really pick a winner. But on the day, Leeds just done a job on Salford and didn't really look good for the Red Devils.
So could Leeds just be turning? I know it was a change Leeds side, obviously. Could Leeds just be turning that corner a bit?
Yeah, well, the game before, it was a month ago, but they put 50 or 60 past Castleford, who were playing pretty well at the time, and it was fantastic, and another really professional performance there against the Red Devils. So they could be turning the corner, and you could see them creep up, but if they're going to make a move for the playoffs, they need to start winning and winning round about now. But they've won the last 2 games, so we could see a bit of a resurgence there at the Rhinos.
Loads of Super League for you this week, because basically it's like a double round. On Wednesday, I'm afraid, Cass versus St Helens is off. It's a combination of misfortune. Castleford have got a lot of players injured, and then COVID in their academy. Loads of players are in isolation, so that's been forfeited. So it's 24-0 to St Helens. Also is Wigan Warrington on Wednesday night. Thursday, you got Salford versus Wakefield, Huddersfield versus Catalans, and Leeds versus Leeds. Look, fingers crossed, because obviously we have had games postponed because of COVID, because Catalans versus Hull KR is off this week. But let's just talk about Sunday night, Saints Wigan.
Yes, what a game it should be as well. It's always a great game, isn't it? For me, the biggest derby game in rugby league, and despite what the form book says, we've just spoke about Wigan's form. Obviously, Saints, haven't played in a couple of weeks as well, so they're going to be going into the game fresh, maybe a bit rusty. But usually, them games you can throw the form book out the window. I know I've been involved in them games where we've been clear favourites against young Wigan sides and been turned over. So anything can happen, and just looking forward to a great game.
But Saints Wigan with a crowd as well.
Watching it. Yeah, and do you know what? I've been to a few of these games as well. Limited crowds to 4,000, but it sounds like there's 24,000 there. I think the fans are just so excited to be back out there, and I'm sure that's the case with the Saints Wigan fans as well.
Big week for Warrington. They're at Wigan on Wednesday, and then Monday night at home to Leeds.
Yeah,
so we're talking about them, 5 straight wins. Is this, the real deal?
If we're talking about them being resurgent and confident, you know, big games, Wigan in particular, and then Leeds, who are finding their feet as well. So if they're going to have any say by winning the Super League, I think they're going to have to start winning these type of games. But I'm looking forward, I really am. Wigan, you know, they're on a bit of a free fall at the moment, but Wigan have got 2 big games, Warrington have got 2 big games, so in a week or so we'll know who's looking like favourites to make Old Trafford.
Yeah, fingers crossed all these games go ahead. Well, there was a cracker in the Betfred League One at the weekend. Barrow versus Workington played out a 24-all draw in front of 3,500 fans.
Can Barrow Raiders stay undefeated? Can Workington finally knock the Raiders off their perch and continue their perfect away record? We're going to find out now over the next 80 minutes here on this Our League production as Carl Forber once again, then he takes this first one up for the Raiders within 10-12 metres of that try line, looking to come back towards the middle of the pitch as the ball goes back towards the right hand side, and Connor Fitzsimmons manages to get another offload out, and Workington is still playing around with this one. It's going to be eventually stopped just a few metres shy of that try line. It's 5th and last tackle now then. Let's see what they do with this one as Carl Forber opts to go towards his left. It's Fitzsimmons is brought down. Has he gone over the try line? He sure has there. It's first blood to Workington in the Cumbrian derby. Barrow Raiders 0, Workington Town 4. In a position to put some points on the board. So let's see what we can do with it. I'm sure this won't be as easy as some of the teams have played so far this season. Workington, one of the strongest oppositions they'll come up against in League One, as Jamie Dallimore dummies one, he's dummied another one, he's going to go for the line himself. Is he over? The referee's taking a look, and Jamie Dallimore has done it again. Jamie Dallimore is over for the Raiders' first try of the afternoon. He just used all his experience there, played a couple of dummies and stretched over that line, and he's done it. Tackle, find themselves 10 metres or so away, and let's see what he can do with this one with the dummy running in. Adam Waln eventually picks it up, and he's going to be stretching over the line. The referee's taking a good look at that one. He's looking to his linesman, to his left and his right, and Adam Waln has been awarded the try on Barrow Raiders for the first time this afternoon. Take the lead in the Cumbrian derby. The score now, Barrow Raiders 10, Workington Town 6.
Workington defence offside.
Busting it is now then for the Raiders. Looking to use all that power and strength, finds himself at a few millimetres as Raiders take the quick one, and it's Dowsett, the man we've just been talking about, that's picked up the ball as easy as you like, jump through the gap. It's a 3rd try of the afternoon for the Raiders, and Barrow have got a massive advantage now in this Cumbrian derby. See if they can get their first victory here at Craven Park in over 7 years as they're going down this left hand side now. The Raiders defence managed to sweep over and stop the attack dead doors. Workington still trying to go down the blind side. He's going to be stretching over the line. The referee said he's had a look at it and he said it's good. It's going to be try number 2 for Workington. This time I think it's Matt Henson that's come onto the field. And last tackle it is now though. Let's see what Marwood can do with this one as he brings the ball out to Duran, and Duran's a little kick over the top, and he's caught it as well. It's bounced very kindly back into his hands. There's going to be Blaine Marwood, and Blaine Marwood has gone over. Blaine Marwood is over for Workington, and he's brought this Cumbrian derby back to game on. It's now Barrow Raiders 22, Workington Town 16, and it is all to play for. This time it's O'Donnell. He's eventually brought down. It's a quick play the ball. Marwood gets this ball out towards the right hand side then. Workington still sweeping this one along. He's going to put a little kick top over the top. It's going to be chased by T. Ritson, but it's not going to be collected. It's going to be Holroyd for Workington, who brings it level in the Cumbrian derby. It's 22 points apace. Unbelievable scenes here with the Matt Johnson Prestige Stadium as the star man for the Raiders all season long. T. Ritson couldn't take control of the ball.
And there you go.
There we go then, in one of the most tense finishes you will ever see to any derby. It has finally finished. Barrow Raiders 24, Workington Town 24.
What a game. And I tell you, wasn't it brilliant? We saw then families together watching rugby league. It's all about, isn't it?
Fantastic, wasn't it? And 3,500 there for a Barrow Workington game. Great crowd as well. And we've seen, commented then, didn't we? Granddad, father and son,
that's what it's all about, isn't
fans just getting out, enjoying the rugby in the sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine, it was perfect, wasn't it? I mean, fingers crossed over the next few weeks we'll get back to it, but it was great to see. And you mentioned previous, you know, the Cumbrian game, it's a massive, massive hotbed of rugby league, and it means so much to them people. And, you know, to get a big crowd, 3,500 for a championship game is massive, and we need to try and nurture and grow the game up there if we can.
Right, we're running out of time. Let's finish with Try of the Week.
Hello and welcome to the Our League Try of the Week. I'm Dave Woods. Let's have a look at this week's contenders. Our first try this week comes from England's Women's International against Wales. Jodie Cunningham setting up finely, gets great support, and Georgia Roach with a finish, and it took some finishing as well. That's a fine try. Try 2 comes from London Broncos against Swinton. One of a brace here from Gideon BOAFO. Wow! Our third super try this week comes from England Wheelchair against their Welsh counterparts, and this is Joe Coyd. Evasive skills in the first place, and just look at this pace as he heads for the corner. They're trying to get there, but nobody will. Try 4, Whitehaven against York. LACHLAN Walnsley, the eventual scorer. The interception here from Jesse Joe Parker finds support from Walmsley. He reaches Dixon on that left-hand side, who shows some terrific pace to get away from that first line of cover. But as the fullback comes in, there's the support. Walmsley's backed up well and gets a try for his efforts. Try 5, England against the All-Stars. Liam Farrell got a couple of scores early in the game. This was the best of them. What about this for pace from the second rower, who turns fullback Connor inside out in his race for the corner. Go Liam Farrell! What a score. And our final try this week, Josh Hardcastle starting and finishing this. The play the ball and then the try scorer. But it's Famano Brown who's very much the destructive force in this wonderful team try. Hardcastle there in the middle to finish it off. Get voting for your favourite this week.
Yeah, get voting. We'll have plenty of build-up to the Challenge Cup final on the 17th of July. Fellas, we're running out of time. Look, all the issues we've got at the moment with matches getting called off due to COVID. We've seen some great rugby league this weekend.
We have seen some great rugby league, haven't we? From wheelchair, women's championship, Super League, obviously internationals. You know, there's been some fantastic games, and fingers crossed. You know, we're getting towards the end of this now, and we don't want to see games cancelled, do we? We want to crack on as normal and you know, enjoy the great things that our game brings.
That's right. Some big games coming up this week. Warrington, Wigan, and then Wigan Saints. So fingers crossed it all goes according to plan, and greatest game in the world.
Gents, really enjoyed your company. Thanks for coming in. So whether you're watching rugby league on a sofa or at a game, enjoy the action over the next few days and look out for that announcement on the World Cup. See you soon.
What a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. It's missed it! It's a poor lad. That is one sensational try.
Look out with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
He's hit the post. It's